all of you are here because you've experienced psychic influence. You've actually done it. And the thing that brought you here is the fact that you couldn't repeat it, and you couldn't predict it, and you didn't have any control over it. But it's actually happened to you already. It's either happened to you or you've done it, and you said, wow, how the fuck did I do that? And you went and tried to do it again, you couldn't do it again. That's the reason you're here. Okay? So the bottom line is, you're already all believers. You're not really skeptics. Okay? You're inquisitive. You want to know what happened and how you did it and how you can repeat it. Okay? And that's what we're going to teach you this weekend. Okay? Now, there's lots of different models that you can look at from a standpoint of understanding psychic influence. And as Ross will tell you again, they're strictly models. You know, and again, some of this is going to be repeated, and that's fine. Okay? But let's just start out with some stuff that we'll call them premonitions. Okay? How many of you have something happened where you knew what was going to happen in the next instant or minute or so? Okay? Yeah. All right? You knew it was going to happen. Typically, as a kid, you know, I use the example of the baseball player. You walked up to the plate and you knew you were going to get a home run. You knew you were going to deliver. Every one of you had that kind of experience where you knew that something was going to happen and it was in your hands and you were going to do it. Right? So you've already had that experience. You might have called it coincidence. You might have just dismissed it as a once-in-a-time life event, which made it so. And it hasn't happened since then, and now you're back. Okay? You may have written it off as just being lucky that time. Right? You made a whole lot of excuses for it, but in fact, it's a natural thing, and it's something the brain does all the time naturally anyway. You just haven't had the ability to control it and do it predictably. Okay? And you already know that. Right? So there's lots of things out there in the world that up to this point in time you've experienced and you've dismissed as being non-real. Okay? When in fact they were real. Right? And think about some of the stuff that you already accept as being real. Now the one I use, in fact, it's a little bit in somebody asked about, Bill asked about, you know, psychic sexual command. Right? How many of you believe in the radio? Everybody better raise their hand. If you believe in a radio, yeah, AM, FM radio. Okay? Can you hear one right now?
No.
Right? Which one do you hear?
Your headset.
Are you picking up one on a headset? I mean, it's possible. You could be hearing an AM, FM radio through the headset. Oh, okay. You'll be hearing it over the speakers. Okay. So you believe in a radio, but you're not hearing. Now, why aren't you hearing one right now?
You got to tune into the frequency.
You got to tune into the frequency. Now that brings us to this next question. How many radio stations are actually bombarding you with their signal right now that you can't hear? I say you can hear, you're not hearing consciously. Yeah, a bunch of them. Now the next one I ask is, how about a cell phone? You believe in a cell phone? Yeah. How many of you have a cell phone? Exactly. You hear a cell phone right now? Can you hear the, you know, so how many conversations are going on in the universe around you right now that you aren't consciously aware of? But they're there, and you believe they're there, but yet you can't touch them, you can't feel them, you can't see them. There is none of your normal senses that come into play, but yet you believe it and you know it's there and you know it's real. Okay? So think about it. As you walk through the world right now, of all the different universes that you're walking through, all the cell phone calls, all the TV signals, all the radio signals that are going on around you. Okay? Now, quite frankly, there's a reason that you're not hearing them. Because if you could hear all that stuff all the time, you'd go insane. Right? Now, there's two parts of the mind that we want to talk about, the conscious mind and the superconscious or the unconscious or the other part of the mind, whatever hell you want to call it. If you want to give it some technical name, you can do that. All right? But the unconscious mind is the part that takes care of your normal bodily functions. You don't think about putting your hands together. You don't think about scratching. All right? You don't think about wiggling your ears or blinking your eyes. This is all an unconscious function that's taken care of.